It is such a treat for me to introduce today's guest, the prolific and astounding Barnet Bain. Barnet Bain is an award-winning movie producer, director, and creative consultant. Select film credits can include the Oscar-winning What Dreams May Come and the Emmy nominee Homeless to Harvard. He's also the author of the third story, Awakening the Love That Transforms. You can find him at his website, burnetbain.com. Now let's go spark some madness. I think what really struck me was this idea of like redefining your story and also just like living within a spiritual place and combining that with work and like when you actually like decided that that was something that was necessary for your path.
Well, life wasn't working for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always felt broken, not good enough, that there was something wrong with me, that I was either unlovable or somehow flawed, or there was something missing, that I could never fit in. I always had this feeling that of wanting to connect, wanting to matter, wanting to belong, and not always had this feeling of not being good enough, not quite good enough.
Mm.
And at some point, I crossed a line. I suddenly realized that maybe I needed to make a relationship with myself. Maybe I had no idea who I really was.
Mm.
Apart from my grasping self, apart from the self that always was competing or trying to be something else or something quote unquote more.
Mm.
This is not really a recipe for having a happy and fulfilled life, or for being valuable to other people.
Mm.
And so I began to look elsewhere. I began to look at, well, is this the natural state? Is this really who I am, or did I learn this?
Mm.
Did I learn this from outside? Is this a hand-me-down identity?
Mm. Wow.
And I came to realize that it is a hand-me-down identity.
Mm.
I came to a point where it occurred to me that almost all of the thinking, almost all of the feeling that operated in me was not original with me.
Mm.
That's a shock.
Yeah.
It's really not a pleasant. That's not.
It's not the most pleasant shock. No,
That's not fun. That is really not fun to suddenly realize that I don't have any original thinking.
Yeah.
It all comes from my community, from media, from the environment, from the culture. We all live smack in the middle of culture wars. And so I asked myself, well, what do I think that is training me? How is that training my inner life? I'm at war with myself.
Mm.
You have to be at war with yourself before you can be at war with somebody else.
Yeah.
And it was shocking to let in that I didn't have any original thoughts. That was possibly the first original thought I had.
Oh man, I resonate with that so deeply. Like as I was a kid, I was like, I don't believe in originality. Like I just felt like I grew up not believing in it. So I was just like, what is this feeling? What is this constant nagging feeling then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the solution to that, the path that leads from that,
Mhm.
is I call it post-psychological.
Post-psychological.
I have it framed that like psychology is a map of all of the hand-me-down thoughts and beliefs and choices and decisions and attitudes and feelings that I have both allowed myself to be programmed by, not because I was bad or wrong, although that's what I told myself, but because I didn't know anything else.
Yeah.
So psychology to me is the coming to grips with all of that. And then if one is really fortunate, we get to a point of understanding the recipe. And we realize I live inside of that recipe.
All that mind soup.
I live I'm in the soup. I live inside the soup. And for most of my life, I was unaware that there is anything outside of the soup. So what exists outside of the soup is spirituality. It is the process of developing a relationship with all that is, which both includes the soup and everything beyond the soup. When you're in the soup, you don't even think there's anything beyond the soup.
It's like, yeah, exactly. You're just like, I'm just this tomato soup. I'm only these.
I'm just the soup.
Nothing else outside of it.
And in the soup, we think that spirituality is religion, and and religion is a beautiful thing. And one can have religion outside of the soup, but it's religion plus. Because what happens is, certainly for me, I came to realize that every thought, every memory, every piece of imagination, every dream, everything that I can see, hear, remember, every cloud, every rock, every human being, every creature, and any I can remember and any I can imagine. In the past, the present, the future, they're all me. So to develop a relationship with that fundamentally changes who we think we are. So I am both separate inside my little pot of soup. That's what separates me from the knowingness, the experience of knowing. So I am both separate and one with all that is. And that discovery and that way of developing a conscious living relationship with that has been my path of spirituality.
Can you like pinpoint that transition to a time or a date or an event, or was it just kind of this slow kind of coming together and understanding of like just kind of piecing something together like a puzzle?
It's sort of, yeah, that's beautifully put. It's a puzzle. It's this big, messy jigsaw puzzle. And you get a little piece here, and you get a little piece here. And this little piece comes in and it feels, oh God, this changes everything. And it's for about a week. For about a week. You put that in here. And then eventually you can see, oh, there's the edge. Oh, wow, I have an edge. So, even this morning, I was talking to Sandy, to my wife, and about like another little piece. And there was grief around that piece. and grief and sadness. And it's another little piece. And when you find the piece, you think, how could I have not seen that piece? So it's not, there is a sort of mythology that is part of the soup, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's a soup story.
Yeah.
There is a mythology that is a hand-me-down piece of soup, that there comes a point, this sudden gestalt, mm-hmm. which is a psychological term for you suddenly put something together and have a deep awareness that may or may not change you, but mm-hmm. that there is such a moment of gestalt where suddenly everything is revealed. Mm-hmm. One becomes enlightened and what there are points of consciousness, not points of time. Mm. So we have points of focus of the consciousness, of our peace, of our little swirl in the all of that is that we mostly function in, that mm-hmm. I'm working, that I'm committed to expanding and expanding. Mm-hmm. I don't want to know that you and I are one consciousness. I want to experience it. Mm-hmm. So that is a point of consciousness, point of awareness. And then, you know, we live in a world of subject and object. Mm. So to create a balance between oneness and subject and object, that's the whole dance of being a human being and alive in this world. So it's not really a time-based, you know, I can't really point to, well, Thursday at 2, I got puzzle piece, because, you know, my Friday at 6, that puzzle piece doesn't make sense anymore.
It's like, man, I just keep breaking and reorganizing this puzzle every day.
But, you know, as I speak to you about it, I do remember some of the more dramatic or fertile moments of puzzle piecing. When I was younger, like just last year of high school, or last couple of years of high school, and then first year of college, that was like the Woodstock era. And you know, everybody was playing with all kinds of substances and and free love, and I wasn't getting any free love, so I experimented with substances. And because I had so many hand-me-down judgments about how to be in the world, and you know, you learn these judgments, and the first target of them is the self. And so what happened in my newfound freedoms and exploration is I was unprepared for it. And it blew open a lot of what was being held, all thoughts and ideas I had about myself just below the surface, kind of got blown open like a oil rig blowout. And it was messy. It was very messy. And you know, I thought I was going to lose my mind for quite a while, and had a lot of mental issues, most of which had to do with the pressure of all of the judgments that I held about myself, all of the not good enough, all of the broken pieces. And that was very difficult, but it pushed me into a direction of wanting to take care
Mm.
and to put that Humpty Dumpty figure back together again. So that was one of the places. And, I don't usually share that.
Mm.
And the reason that I don't is because I don't want anybody to think that that is a path. It is a path, but I don't recommend
Yeah,
it.
likewise.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But certainly, much, if not most, of the challenges that we have in life, particularly mental challenges, are spiritual challenges.
That's so true. Because it's like the mind and the spirit are all trying to like communicate to the whole body at the same time. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
We become conditioned to satisfy the values of others very early on. In fact, in the womb. It starts in the womb.
Yeah, bathed in sound.
Yeah. When my mother was carrying me, she was 19 years old. She already had at the time, 3-year-old daughter. So she started early, 15, 16 years old. She had her at 16, so 15 years old. No education. 2 children by the time I was born, before she was 20. Single. So while I'm being carried in the womb, you can imagine what would be the experience of an infant who is sharing his mama's chemistry and biology, same chemistry. So her thoughts and her feelings, I wonder sometimes, how did she feel about being pregnant with another child with no education and no income and probably not too good? How did she feel about men? Probably not too good. How did she feel about being a woman? Probably not too good. How did she feel that life was a friendly place? Probably not. So as a fetus, this becomes a cellular programming. We don't start in life as a clean slate.
Yeah. I like to imagine we do, but we carry a lot more along with us.
We come in with certain programmings already. And then, so as I say, this whole kind of spiritual journey, it involves coming to an awareness of those things. And when you're aware of it, you can respond to it. I can then have a different kind of loving relationship with my mother that is compassionate and understanding without taking on. But until then, I am automatically responding to that. It's like it is ingrained and programmed. I don't even know it's there. So I come from a perspective that the real challenges of the world are spiritual challenges.
Yeah. Because it's like, as our bodies are reacting to the environment around us, so are our minds. So is this like energetic level of our spirit and our being. Yeah. And we make and we weave the messages that we see around us, like so intrinsically. And it's like, if your body isn't broken, then there could be something within the mind that still just feels fractured, not broken, but fractured. Yeah. Like, I think no one is a broken being. We just have layers of disconnection and dis-ease. It's like, there's no disease, it's just dis-ease within different layers of the body, that some we understand and some, who knows who knows when.
Really beautifully said. and this may seem vague to some of our listeners, but as an example, I call the distresses of our life, and you're talking about the body for an example. Our body doesn't forget anything, nothing. The body forgets nothing. We may have long forgotten things. The body forgets nothing. And so, if I say to you, Christmas, right away, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of associated things. Many of them are lovely and nostalgic. Some of them, often they are not very pretty.
Yes.
If I needle drop a beat, or if I needle drop a tune, right away you're there.
Yeah.
Instantly you're there. So anything that comes up in the process of daily life that is the same, or similar, or familiar to the body, you're there. So to this day, if I hear Marvin Gaye, right away, I remember a summer and a girl. Right away. Now I go through long periods and it's not there. I hear a song and I can smell the air, I can feel the grass under my feet, like that. Because it is triggering something that is familiar, the same, or similar, that is held in my body memory, in my somatic memory. It's not held in my mind. My mind cannot handle all of that input. It's held in my subconscious, and my body is the first outpost of my subconscious. The whole world is your subconscious.
Yeah.
You see your subconscious? Look outside the window. Look at your body. So it triggers it. And the last to get on board is the logic piece, the prefrontal cortex, the logic piece. That's the last piece. That's the last part to saddle up and ride out. And I knew that all along. And works backwards, like it's the seat of everything, and it's the last part. So, we're constantly being triggered as we move through the day. I move through, 5 minutes and boom, something distracts, something triggers me, not necessarily bad, but that takes me out of the present and puts me, and what are the signs that I'm out of the present? I have an interior narrator. And that guy is constantly narrating what's going on. Here comes a car, it's on the left. Should I stop? Should I go? Do I know who that person is? Here comes something else. Do I like that or I don't like that? So there's the narrator. Then I also have a judge. That's good. That's crap.
Oh, the critic side, how loud it speaks.
So between the narrator and the competitor, the judge part, the critics, that is the more that we can become aware of those, the more we can connect it with, I'm no longer in the present. I've fallen out of the present. Why do they? What kicks them in? Something that is the same, similar, or familiar is what gets them going. And so now I realize, most of the time, not in the present. Most of the time, those critics are operating from the past. They are not talking. Those thoughts and those feelings are not about now, ever. Unless you're standing in front of a bus and it's about to run you down. That's about now. Otherwise, it's about something in the past that is being held in your body.
Mm.
And then the mind scrambles to find the file. And if it can't find the file, it makes one up on the spot. What did I see on television yesterday? Makes it up on the spot. So you're absolutely, spot on. The body and the intellect, they're in a dance. And our opportunity lies in recognizing, well, what is triggering the dance? And every time I'm dancing, I am not here.
Mm.
I'm in a virtual world that my intellect is recreating, because my body is storing a felt sense, an emotional state. Nice or not so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And we call all that stuff memory.
Mm.
In the East, they call that karma.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like almost like the input of the world and of society becomes too much to take in, where you just kind of need to cut yourself off from all of those things? Like it's like almost too many stories are happening on with.
I think it's important to do that. Oh, excuse me. I think that's really important to do that, is to take some time out. And then, I take time out and I'm still going like a rat on a wheel. And there's a part of me that is like watching.
Yeah.
Wow, you're going. The part of me that's watching, that's going, wow, you're out of control.
Mm-hmm.
That part is not on the wheel. So who's that? And who's the part that is watching? And for that to happen, we have to slow it down a bit. It helps to take oneself out of it, even if it's for 10 minutes, an hour. Every once in a while I do a day.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I haven't done it for a long time.
Maybe just like get the college. Like,
yeah, take my advice. I'm not using it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's beautiful. All the things that we recommend to other people. And it's just like, wait a second, what was the last time?
Exactly. I wish I did that. I'd probably be so much happier if I did that.
Oh, these games we play with ourselves.
It's really something.
Mm-hmm.
So the games. So sometimes I laugh at them and sometimes it's just like cringe.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Cringe. And then, what is the impact of that on other people? It's not pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's so few people that actually learn to even deal or live with these different phases of ourselves. It really is, like you said, a privilege to even get to have that time to have these conversations with self and with spirit and with body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like when you are going about, like, do you have any like other strategies or systems, or like that feeling that you get when you know that this is the right direction or the right path that your spirit wants to be on?
So that's really an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been asked that before. And I think I'm not looking that far ahead, because I don't know what path my spirit wants me to be on. I know what path the soup thinks my spirit should be on.
I like that. That's a very good.
So, we're in the soup and a little letter floats by, and,
It's like alphabet
And
soup.
carrots float by, and then a couple letters float by. I put them together, and oh, they spell something. It's soup. It's all soup. Anybody that thinks that they're getting messages, they're in the soup.
Mhm.
So what my spirit wants, what my soul wants is oneness.
Mm.
It's, it's not, my spirit and my soul is not interested in, they're interested in me being, discovering how to give and receive love
Mm.
with more and more depth of understanding of what that is. It's not interested in the work I do. That is the work.
Mm.
That's it.
Simple. Not
So,
easy. Simple.
Simple, yeah. Now, when we're in the soup, it's like, oh, my spirit wants me to, there's an S and there's an N, there's a G. Song, wants me to write a song.
Mhm.
That's soup talk. That's it. Now, if I read the letters in the soup as much as anybody else, and I do my best in the soup. I do my best to be happy.
Mhm.
And, if I want to write or I want to make a movie, I try. And sometimes sometimes it comes together, and more often than not, it doesn't. And I'm aware of all the things that I tell myself around that. And they're all soup.
Mhm.
I love that metaphor that you gave.
Please take it away. Like I said, I didn't create it.
Using that. That's really good. But they're all soup. The real work of being human
Mm.
is to heal the self.
Mm.
And as we begin to heal the self, we realize that what we think is the self, you are myself.
Mm. Mm. That's the greatest depth. Is that place of knowing. It feels like almost like you're going insane at the same time that you're going sane almost.
Yeah, it does. I mean, sometimes I absolutely feel like I'm going, like it's too much, like I'm going insane. It's too much because I don't have the chops. I don't have the hacks. I don't have what is required to put it back together again. I don't have it. And I don't have it in my own internal fractured self. So how am I going to have it? How can I pull a sense of community in the world? We're all so shattered and fragmented. But piece by piece, a little piece, what piece of the puzzle, get that edge out. That's the job. That's the real work. That's what it is to be human. That's what it is.
It's almost like you are just a piece, but at the same time, you're also the whole puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And we have like clues to the story. They're everywhere. I have friends, and some of whom are quite religious, and there's clues there. You open Genesis, like the first couple of chapters. There's clues. What was the Garden of Eden? It is a place of unity consciousness, oneness. So what is the tree of life? What was all that about?
Mm.
Fruit of the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, the fruit of the tree of knowledge. That story. I mean, and then it exists in every culture. You have an equivalent. Every culture has an equivalent of this. So there's this non-dual reality, no subject object. Everything is one. And then the whole sort of quote unquote curse. It's not a curse. It's a developmental step of consciousness. But let's see what it's like to go subject object. Let's pretend we're in the world. We are not the world, but previously we are the whole thing. Let's pretend we're not. Just as a pretend. Let's pretend. So that's the story of the fruit of good, of knowledge, good and evil, or whatever it is. You eat that, and suddenly I have inhibitions. I have subject. I don't feel connected. And there's me, there's it. And so I am pushed out of the garden. I'm pushed out of the state of oneness, is what that really means, into subject and object, duality, good and bad. But this doesn't feel good anymore. So I'm going to blame somebody, right? And the story is the first ism is sexism. It was her.
Yeah.
It was Eve. That was the first ism. The second one in the book is Cain and Abel, fratricide. You know, and from there it just all hell breaks loose. You know, all the isms, all the sexisms, all the racisms, all the self-hate. It starts from self-hate. You cannot be in love with yourself and go. It doesn't even occur. So our work as human beings, for me, is not so much about reading the letters in the soup. It's, you know, heal thyself. And as you begin to put it back together again, you realize the idea of self expands. That's the work of being human. That's what it's about. That's what it is. It's not, and everything else is just for the fun of it. It's fun. Or it should be fun.
Yeah. I feel like there is a place of being too open, and it just becomes like, goes from fun to scary real quick.
Real fast, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that is beautiful. So do you have like a sense when projects do come across you that you're just like, yes, this resonates with something that I feel like I must do?
Yes. But that comes and goes like seasons. So I'll give you both sides. So when I'm feeling powerful and confident, and then something comes up and I think, well, would I have fun doing this? Would it be valuable to me? Would I learn to love and grow from it? Would it be valuable to others? If all those line up, then I go ahead with it. Just as often, it's like, just as often things come up and I think, and I say, well, I don't know how to take this across the finish line. I don't know how to, you know, I don't necessarily have the confidence. Sometimes I'm highly confident and it can just all drain out overnight. And I just don't feel confident that I can get it done. And so that happens too.
Yeah.
And then it reminds me that I am overly identified, achieving in that worldly way. And that my life's purpose is not really about that. It's about, well, can I still love myself? or do I have to have a job?
Mhm.
Well, if I have it, then I have all. I need a job because. But you know, the nature of my life is that I have a job and it's fun, and then I feel sort of cocky, and
Mhm.
and then I don't have one, and I'm okay for a little bit.
Yeah.
So you know, the question, how do I know what I need to do?
Mhm.
I'm the project.
Mm.
I'm a project. My life as a human being is the project.
Mm.
And when everything's going along smooth, it just means like I have less things that trigger me, that fragment me. I have less things that come up that are the same or similar or familiar that put me into a distressed, diseased state.
Mm.
They still come up, you know, mostly they come up in ways that soothe my ego, and it's still taking me out of the moment.
Yeah.
Look, you know, this feels good. You know, it's all about me, and I'm happy, and you know, the world is falling apart, but I got mine.
Mhm.
I have all that going.
Mhm.
I have all that going, and I keep telling myself, no, you know, next time things are going really well for me, I'm going to remember to keep the heart open, and
Mhm.
but I haven't fulfilled that yet.
Mm.
Not so easy. I'm much more compassionate when I am, you know, I have more humility
Mm.
when, you know, when I'm not able to say, well, a project shows up and I know it's the right thing, because you know, there's a certain kind of soupiness to that.
Yeah.
I'm back in the soup.
We're back in the soup. We just think we're getting out of it. Gonna make
Yeah,
back in the soup.
back in the soup. There's a certain cockiness that says soup.
I feel that. Do you then have like a community, or maybe like go-to people, or like go-to strategies to help you, I guess, kind of reconnect with that sense of self, sense of purpose, sense of oneness? Or is it just kind of like
Well,
flowing?
today I have you, and I am not just being cute.
Mm.
I mean it.
Mm.
Today I have you. When I get that, life delivers what you need.
Yeah, it really does. Thank you. Thank you for that. Mm. I just wanted to sit in that.
Deliver. It will always deliver what you need. It doesn't necessarily deliver what you want. It will always deliver what you need.
Mm. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. Kind of shoveling through those wants and those needs and that perspective. Yeah. It's such a really golden, mucky place to be. It really is. Because I feel like at the end of it all, they all are wants, you know, to some degree or another. There are all these little various.
I agree with you. They're all wants.
Mm-hmm.
They are all wants. The ultimate drive, which is not in, you know, that Maslowian hierarchy of needs and stuff. The one that's not on there,
Mm-hmm.
the highest drive, is to learn to give love.
Mm. Uh-huh. I feel like my issue is usually with the receiving of it. I feel like so few times does it really feel like I'm open enough to receive the love that I'm getting. Like I would get it, I get it. And I just couldn't even see it as love as it's coming at you. And it's like not even feeling like you were worthy of that, what you were given.
I so relate to that. Mm-hmm. So receiving love is the ultimate giving of love.
Mm. Mm. I have to give snaps to that.
That is the ultimate giving of love, is to receive it. To have the humility to receive it is the greatest gift of love you can give to someone. I receive your love. That's it. Doesn't get, anybody can give love, because that's not giving. You know, most of the time when we're giving love, I won't say most of the time, that's not fair, that's presumptuous, but often, very often, when we're giving love, quote unquote, it's transactional. I love you so much, and therefore, you owe me.
Yeah.
Or I love you so much, so I get to, because I love you so much.
Yeah.
I get to tell you things, and I get to be your dad forever, even though now you're a grown-up man or a grown-up woman. I still get to tell you stuff because I love you so much.
Yeah.
I don't love you enough to let you have your own life as a human.
Yeah.
but
No, I still love you.
I still love you. I
like
call it love
with balls and chains attached to them.
Yeah, I've been trained to think that. Or I love you so much that you will never leave me. All kinds of conditions to it. All kinds of under the table stuff that we don't even know that we're doing. But it's highly conditional. Highly conditional. Like, I love you so much as long as your life fits into my soup.
Yeah, as long as you stay the same.
Stay the same, yeah. If you have too much of your own life, change your politics, change your gender identity, change your religious, change too much, rock my boat. We'll see how much I love you.
Yeah.
Now see how well that goes.
Yeah.
So, to give and to receive the love of another person allows them to feel that they matter, that they're unjudged, that they don't have to conform to your soup. That's receiving love. I receive you for who you are. I give you permission to be different than me without losing my love. Well, we don't usually learn that, in the cradle.
Yeah.
Not because anybody's bad, but you got to really have some lights on to model for other people, to model for our children. I give you permission to be different than me in every way and not lose my love.
Wow.
And that's why we have challenges receiving love.
Yeah.
That's what stands in the way.
Because it's like we think that we're loving on that level, but really it's like we're putting all of these underlining brackets behind it. There's always like this ellipsis all at the end. It's like, I love you, ...
Mostly under the table, ...
Yeah.
And they do love us, they do love us.
Yeah.
But and they think it's unconditional. Love you to the moon. I love you. They just love you no matter what you do. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have this saying to my friend that I would say. I was like, I love you so much. You could kill my mother in front of me and I'd still love you. I love my mother.
That's great.
Yeah. You know, it's like that level of like unbelievable forgiveness that we have like towards ourselves. And I love what you said about that, is that it comes from this self-love, this place of needing to love the self first. It's like all of those external hates and everything like that. When you hate outwardly, it's like you're hating on the inside somewhere too. And so few people actually will grow to realize that is the damage of their hatred.
All bullies.
Yeah.
To be a bully, you have to be at war with yourself.
Mm.
Well, if I'm not the alpha here, you know, we look at what's going on in the world now. If I'm not the alpha here, I'm so afraid I'm going to be perceived as weak, or if I have to carry a big stick or no respect. So I think I will just blow in over a whole other country or neighborhood or schoolyard or whatever it is. You know, whether it's in a schoolyard or in a boardroom, you don't bully another person. It only comes after you've been trained to bully yourself.
Yeah.
It's a product. It's not the origin. It's a product. Those behaviors are a product of an internal war. It always starts with the self. It's always with the self.
Coming back to self.
Why would I even think that I have to have a project? Why would I think that I have to be the alpha macho? Or why would I even think that I cannot be a fiercely independent woman without consequences? Where did I get patterned? And to what degree am I subject to those patterns? Well, if I'm really honest about myself, in the high 90s. But that's good news, because what time was like 100%.
Yeah.
And to go against the flow, if everybody's in the soup, and
yeah,
courage.
It's like, you don't want to be the one cupcake in the soup, you know?
Exactly.
We're not making cupcake soup.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah. So that's the real courage.
Yeah.
And courage, courage comes from the French word cœur, which is the heart. We will never think our way to courage.
Yeah.
It's not a mental thing, because underneath, that's just a surface bluster. Right? If you look at like Mr. Putin right now, you just look at his eyes. That is a terrified guy.
Yeah.
So we can't, we think we're fooling people with the mental. Courage comes from the heart.
It takes a lot of courage.
You gotta be a lover.
Yeah. Because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to love.
It takes a lot.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. It's been an honor to share this time with you, truly.
Anytime.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can make this a regular meeting where we just talk spirit.
Anytime, anytime.
Thank you so much. You have no idea. When people ask me what the #1 favorite movie in my life is, it's What Dreams May Come.
Well,
Hands
that's right.
down. Like, without a doubt, it really is. Like, that movie shaped the way that I thought about my own life and my own existence. And you were part of that. And I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you. That's great. Those really
Yeah, I guess like I don't want to steal all your time away. So if there's anything else that you would like to add, ways that people can reach out to you, get in contact with
They
you.
can reach me
or anything
on through my website, which is barnetbain.com. And I'm reachable.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking with you. Thank you so much.
Likewise. This has been like just truly a magnificent experience for me. A very just like humbling and eye-opening experience.
Have lots of heart. And so to all of our listeners, remember the love.
Remember the love.
That's the whole deal.
Yeah.